I honestly don't know where the idea came from because like it's just something I did, and then like meeting people on my trip after being in the Air Force, some of them I hadn't seen for maybe about 5 or 6 years. Being in the Air Force, I don't think influenced my decision to drive across country. I think that it allowed me to, for the fact that it provided me with money. You know, it gets you together mentally, and you're able to formulate a plan whereas it used to be a dream rather than now. Like now I have the means to do it. I have what I want to do it. The day I guess would be waking up and then packing up my sleeping bag and into my tarp, loading on the back of the bike, brushing my teeth. I had to ration water because I only had one water bottle, an Nalgene bottle. Driving to a gas station first, get gas, get water, and then I try and find somewhere with a table because that was like such a luxury to me to sit and eat somewhere at a table because I was so tired near the end of just sitting Indian style in the dirt, like eating. Like I didn't care what I was eating. I just didn't want to sit in the dirt anymore. So I'd look anywhere I could for a picnic table to sit at. And I'd sit there, and then usually I'd catch up on my journal, eat lunch, and then keep on going. And then it was about an hour before dusk every day. You know, I'd know when the sun went down. I was like, okay, now is the time that I have to find somewhere to sleep. And I'd kind of figure out where I was. I always knew where I was, so I'd figure out where I'm at. And then I'd figure out, okay, this area over here doesn't look populated. So I tried to find a road off to the right, east, you know, or something like that. So I'd find a road off to the east. Now I'm going down this road, and now I find a dirt road. So all right, cool. I'd find a dirtier ass road off that one. And then it was just, you know, like that's just one example. And it was never typical finding somewhere to sleep. It was always just trying to, I guess, survive, I guess, in a way. But just trying to find somewhere to sleep was the most interesting part. That was the most adventurous part of every day. I got really good. It started out like I was eating oatmeal with water poured into it. Quick oats, and then I finally got to be where I just eat like a can of pineapple. And dinner was when I finally got to where I was staying for the night. I'd light up my stove that I made. For the month that I stayed in Texas, we actually dumpstered our food out of dumpsters from like health food stores and all sorts of other places like Einstein Bagels or a pizza place. I had to do a lot of maintenance to the bike on the road. Every 5,000 miles, it requires an inspection. Every 2,500 miles, I changed the oil. The 10,000 mile inspection, I actually paid to have it done because I bought the bike brand new, and you have to have a 1,000 mile inspection done to it. So I had that done before I left on the trip, and it was like maybe a week after the trip I took off. So I just skipped the 5,000 mile because that was only that was weeks later than it happened. I was like, this bike doesn't need anything done to it. It didn't feel any differently. So the 10,000 mile inspection when I was in New Mexico. I paid to have it done, and it was something like $300, and I was just like blown away by it. I was like, I cannot afford this. So I had my mom and dad send me my tools, you know, like I read over the book. I figured out what tools I needed to do what inspections, so they mailed them to me. So I did from there on out, I did all the rest of my inspections. The only thing I couldn't do to the bike was change the tires. I went through 2 back tires and a front tire. Initially, I had a cell phone, and then when I left Florida, I wanted to get rid of it, but everybody was like, no, don't get rid of it. And people were always calling me like, hey, what's going on, bud? And it's kind of like, it's not that kind of trip, you know, but you can't say that. So eventually I actually accidentally left my cell phone charger in Florida. And I got to Texas, and it never got sent to me. So I just kept on with the trip. And I didn't really keep in touch with them much at all. Maybe every 2 or 3 weeks I'd call them. My favorite part about traveling, I guess, was meeting the people, because I never knew who I was going to meet, and everybody that I met was absolutely wonderful to me. I never had a bad experience meeting anybody, and more than anything, this trip, like, it really restored my faith in humanity, more so than I had ever even had. Like, you know, you watch the news and you hear about other people's trips, and I'd been mugged before and robbed and beat up. So, like, this is just like, there are so many good people out there. It is just so good to know every day. Like, I'd meet somebody and they had such a positive message, like, oh, I really like what you're doing. You know, it was never like, oh, what are you doing with your life or anything like that. This interesting person I met was this guy named James down in Texas, and James used to be well educated. No, James is well educated. He knows what he's doing in life. he used to be well paid. He had made a lot of money. He had the cars and the house, and then he realized it all wasn't making him happy. And so like little by little, he started getting rid of this till the time when I met him. He's very insightful. He's not out to change anybody. He's not out to say like, hey, what you're doing, you know, like this lifestyle isn't right. He's just like, oh, that's cool, but this is what I do. And it was really like, it was amazing to me how open he was. My life has changed like a complete 180 since I've been back. So now I used to worry about what I was going to eat and if I had anywhere to sleep, if I'd meet people that were kind. And now I don't worry about where I'm going. I don't hit the road anymore. I know where I'm going to sleep every night. I know I have good people around me. So now I'm worrying about more minuscule things that I don't consider as important, like when I'm going to wash my bike or what I'm going to do for the weekend. What would I say to someone that disagrees with me and about my decision to be homeless and on the road? Well, it's already happened. I just listened to their point of view. I don't think when they do disagree with me that they understand the full extent of what I do. I don't think they can even imagine my lifestyle, and I feel sorry for them. Do the Atlantic coast next, and I want to go up into Canada, maybe start from Halifax and travel west into Alaska and up until the Arctic Circle and back through maybe Alaska or back through Canada again, or maybe northern part of the States. But that's just the plan right now. I'm really looking into doing California down to Mexico and Central America and South America and back up. So that could always change as well. Again, because I guess I don't know what else to do with myself. And you could say it about anybody. It's just a comfort zone, and it's something I know I can do. I'm good at it. I've accomplished it. And I have felt more alive doing this, eating my cans of beans and not having anywhere to stay than I ever have in my entire life. And it's made me so much happier than anything I've ever done through high school or when I was in the Air Force to now. I want to feel that same way. What I learned from my experiences on the road is it put everything into perspective for me. I didn't, I believed in like, I believed that like working and having a house made me happy and things like that. But so being on the road, I didn't have a home. I wouldn't call myself homeless. I'm home free. That means homeless means you desire something, and I don't desire a home. I'd never been on a tighter budget of $15 a day, food and gas. I was always hungry, and it wasn't fun, but I appreciated like every bite that I had. And I never had fewer material possessions ever before. All I had was on my bike. Entertainment was my journal and my book that I carried with me during the whole trip. So not having TV or not having a home and having so little money, and as happy as I was, I realized that I had not even as happy as I was. I realized I was happier than I'd ever been in my entire life. So put into perspective what people tell me that I need to be happy versus what I really do need to be happy. And I'm not saying that it's the same thing for everybody. I'm just saying it's what works for me.